Greetings, sports enthusiast. Get ready to dive into the exhilarating world of athletics with Players Bio. I'm your host, Pranay Poril, and on today's episode, we have Kiranpal Pannu, an ATP tennis player from New Zealand. Hi, Kiran. It's an absolute honor to have you on our show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be able to sit down and talk to you.
Okay, let's get right into it. Could you please introduce yourself to our viewers, even though most of the people already know who you are and what you do, and also tell us a bit about your background and your journey in the world of sports.
Okay, yeah, my name is Kiranpal Pannu. I'm born and raised in New Zealand. I have an Indian dad and a British mum, so I have a diverse background.
Who inspired you to pursue the tennis as your career?
Um, Probably my family.
Mm-hmm.
And just I guess a lot of the coaches and people I had around me as a young player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean the my parents and my family really inspired me to do my best and become the best player that I could and the best person that I could. And then when I was
Any
able to
any
come over,
any role models that you looked up to during your formative years
um,
within the realm of tennis?
I mean, I love Roger Federer and some
Uh-huh.
of the top players, but yeah, I mean, like I was trying to get to earlier, I was never really obsessed with tennis. You know, as a junior, I lived a well-grounded life, and then
Mm-hmm.
coming here to the States during college, I was able to have my first ATP opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really chương and really inspired me to try to pursue the ATP career.
So you were born and raised in New Zealand, and at what year did you move to the States?
And as a 18-year-old in 2015, to pursue my
Mm-hmm.
tertiary education.
Okay. Did you study in the States? Which college did you go?
Columbus State University.
Okay, and
It's just
you were in a
sorry, you go.
varsity tennis team.
Yes, yep. I was part of the tennis team, and we were able to win the NCAA national championship
Mm-hmm.
during my years there, the only time in program history. And yeah, we had a great coach. He was a big part of me transitioning to professional. My teammates were awesome, so it was just a great experience.
All right. So how did you become involved with Corta?
Well, so I came over to Columbus State,
Mm-hmm.
and the training and the tennis facility is shared with Corta. Their offices are in the same building, so I became familiar with them and friendly with them all. They're
Mm-hmm.
all super lovely people, and yeah, and so now I'm playing professional. I see them, day to day, and
Mm-hmm.
we talk most days, and I don't work for Quarter. I'm not really personally involved, with the day-to-day operations, but I see them every day, and it's more of yeah,
It is a non-profit organization, uh, is it? Right.
correct,
So,
correct.
what are its missions, philosophy when it comes to supporting athletes, young athletes like yourself?
Uh, Quarter's mission is to promote and develop the growth of tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's a non-profit organization and currently has membership over 2,300 people.
Wow, that many.
Um, yeah, and so yeah, they're doing awesome work. They definitely try to reach communities and um, yeah, communities and people that may not usually have an opportunity to play tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, tennis is um, an expensive sport,
Yeah.
and it's not accessible to everybody equally. And I believe that one of their main goals is to kind of bridge that gap.
All right. Was tennis always your forte, or were you into some other sports during your formative years? Like, did you play any other sports aside from tennis?
Yes. Yeah, I played cricket, rugby,
Mm-hmm.
football. I played everything kind of growing up and also alongside tennis. And then when I was about 12 years old, it became obvious that tennis was kind of my
Thing.
biggest passion and probably what I was most skilled at. And
Mm-hmm.
so um, I kind of around 12 or 13, I had to kind of choose to focus more of my time and energy just on tennis.
Okay, could you share some of the challenges you faced during the initial phase you jumped into the tennis, and please also mention about your most notable achievements till date.
Okay. The biggest challenges I faced, I would say, are probably financial.
Mm-hmm.
To pursue a tennis career, it can cost anywhere from 60,000 US dollars a year,
Wow.
at least, and so coming out of college and not having any money, not being, from New Zealand where tennis is not a big sport, there wasn't that much
Mm-hmm.
support. So that was probably the biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm. All
And it's
right.
still an ongoing challenge, but now I've been able to climb the ranks on the ATP tour. I'm receiving more prize money for the tournaments, and I have a little bit more exposure for sponsorships, but I'm still fundraising and trying to obtain money to pay for a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's the next step for me to, push to the Grand Slam level. My biggest achievements is I've played in two ATP,
Mm-hmm.
one ATP 500 main draw in Washington D.C. a couple of
Mm-hmm.
weeks ago, where I went through the qualifying and yeah, made it to the main draw. Earlier this year, I played in the ATP 250 main draw in New Zealand, and I've played Davis Cup a number of times for New Zealand, which is an honor, to represent your country on the biggest
Yeah,
stage.
of course it is. Are you traveling right now or in your home country?
I'm traveling. I'm in the United States right now. I
Mm-hmm.
just finished a bunch of tournaments and I'm getting ready for a bunch more. So because
Yeah.
of the nature of the tour, I
Mm-hmm.
usually get home to New Zealand once a year around December for Christmas with my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, that
So
begs the question: how do you balance your professional and personal life? Is it hard to split time between your family and hectic traveling around the world for competitions?
absolutely, yeah, and it does not help that New Zealand is so isolated.
Yeah.
Um, if my parents or my family was living somewhere where the tour was being played,
Mm-hmm.
I could, see them while I'm on tour or have them come out. But yeah, it's
It's
definitely
really
tough.
heartbreaking,
It's a
isn't it?
sacrifice that,
It's really
yeah, for
heartbreaking
sure.
not to give enough time to your family.
Yeah, it is. Life's too short as well, where
Yeah.
you don't want to have any regrets that you wish
Mm-hmm.
you had spent more time with them or so yeah, it's constantly a balance. I'm hoping my parents are going to retire in the next year or so and they'll
Mm-hmm.
be
Mm-hmm.
able to come out on the tour with me, to some tournaments that they'd want to come to.
Yeah.
Um, but
You
yeah,
you said
definitely.
earlier that you have some Indian background from your father's side, right?
Yes.
Have you been to India at all? Like you might have before.
No,
You've never been to
no, I
India.
haven't. I have not, but
Wow, that's
I plan
interesting.
on, yeah, I plan on coming over soon. I was meant to go with my dad,
Mm-hmm.
up to, um, my dad's Punjabi, so our
Mm-hmm.
family's from the north, and we were meant to
Just
go
so you
up to
know,
visit.
I'm not from India.
You're not?
No, I'm from Nepal.
Where are you from? Oh, okay, okay, nice, nice. Is
No,
that where you're living right now?
yeah, of course.
Oh, awesome,
I was
awesome.
I was born and
You
raised
do a
in
great
Nepal.
job.
Thank you very much,
Do a
man.
great job.
So,
But yeah, I
mhm.
want to go to New Zealand. I want to go to India soon for sure.
All right. Now let's jump on to our next question. For individuals interested in pursuing tennis as a career, what advice would you give based on your own experiences?
I would say the keys are probably to start at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Tennis is one of those sports that you can't pick up when you're 18 years old
Yeah,
and
you have to
just
have that
decide to be.
passion inside you and start right from the beginning. Am I right?
Yes, it's one of those sports that if you try to start when you're 18 from nothing and just become a professional, it's
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say anything's impossible, but it's very difficult. You need to start young, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, and yeah, just play consistently all the way through to being an adult. And you have to love it, and you also need the financial backing, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's your family or it's a tennis federation or it's a private sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very expensive sport.
Wow. Okay, what does a typical day in your training routines look like, and how do you balance practice, fitness, and recovery?
Yeah, so an average day would be waking up at 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m., and going straight to the gym to do the physical. And that's
Mm-hmm.
usually about an hour and a half, an
Mm-hmm.
hour to an hour and a half, depending on what I have. And then come back, breakfast, and then off to the courts for a few hours
Mm-hmm.
for practice, then lunch, and then either practice again or it'll be recovery in the gym. And then about 4 or 5 o'clock, it's just resting and hydrating and getting ready for the next day.
Do you have those extreme diet plans that you follow?
Yes, yeah. I mean, mine's not too extreme,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I definitely watch what I eat. I try not to eat too much processed food and
Mm-hmm.
try to eat a lot of healthy meat, healthy vegetables, carbohydrates. So yeah,
Okay, it is not just a physical; it's also a mental game, right? Tennis. How do you stay focused and
yeah.
composed during high pressure moments on the court?
Uh, Great question.
Thank you.
Just I try to stay centered and connected with my breath.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that helps me a lot. Sometimes if you're not aware of your breath, you can be breathing very quickly and not deeply, and that can result in more anxiety and more stress and less oxygen to your blood. So for me personally, just taking some deep breaths and I always try to have a perspective that
Mm-hmm.
tennis is just a sport. There's more to
Yeah,
life than tennis. There's
yeah.
family, there's
Health comes first,
friends.
right?
Exactly. So
Especially in this day and
sometimes,
age, mental health it is must. You need to focus more
yes,
on mental health.
absolutely. Yes.
Can you highlight a particular memorable match or tournament that has had a significant impact on your career?
Yeah. I would say my first Davis Cup tie playing
Mm-hmm.
for New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, I mean, yeah, just such an honor to play for your country. And it's a different, tennis is an individual sport. And so when you play for something bigger than yourself, it's makes it very special.
Yeah.
Um, winning the national championship in college, where my teammates and we set the goal at the start of the year and we really worked hard for that single goal. And when you
That
achieve,
must have been really
a goal that,
exciting, right? Winning something for your country.
yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah, it was awesome. And then just playing in the ATP, the big events, just getting to experience the glitz and the glamour, that's not normal for me, hopefully it will be soon, but
Eventually.
yeah, exactly. I've got to work my way up there first. So yeah, I'd say those are the highlights of my tennis career so far.
All right. Okay, tennis often involves facing setbacks and injuries. How do you stay motivated and positive during challenging times?
Wow, another great question. You're
Thank you very
you're doing
much.
awesome, man.
Thanks.
Um, yeah, I mean it's very difficult. I think the key is you have to have that passion and you have to love what you do. And if you don't, It's not. It's going to be very difficult if you're playing for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's not healthy. So for me, I had an injury earlier this year where I was out for 5 months, but um, it
Oh,
was
what injury did you have?
I have a nodule on my plantar fascia, which is
Mm-hmm.
just essentially the bottom of my foot. I couldn't really walk around too much,
Mm-hmm.
or let alone play tennis. So, but during that time, it wasn't the end of the world for me. For
Yeah.
me, there's more to life than tennis. I was able to spend, valuable time with people close
Mm-hmm.
to me and that I otherwise wouldn't be able to because I'd be traveling so much. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think the key is to just loving what you do and understanding that tennis is a sport, but it's not life. Life
Yeah.
is bigger and there's a lot more to it.
Okay. Professional athletes are known for their crazy pre-game rituals. Do you have any of those?
No, no, nothing that's too exciting. I mean, I do a little bit of meditation and a little bit
Uh-huh.
of visualizing how I want to play and how I want to carry myself, but
Uh-huh.
no, nothing crazy that I'm sure some of these other guys are doing.
Yeah. So let's just off the court. What are your hobbies and interests that help you unwind and recharge? Are there anything
Oh,
that you are particularly interested in your day-to-day life, except for tennis?
yeah, absolutely. I love hanging out with friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter really what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's always great for me to unwind, going grabbing, some dinner or something.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I love to play golf. I'm not
All
very
right.
good at golf at all. Actually, I'm very bad at golf, but
Another
I
expensive
really,
sport.
it is, yeah, it is a very expensive sport and um, yeah, not accessible. It's more accessible over where I'm living now in the
Mm-hmm.
United States, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very,
Where,
very expensive sport.
where exactly do you live in the States?
I live in Columbus, Georgia, which is
Georgia.
where quarter,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, quarter
Okay.
is and where I went to university. So,
All right.
yeah, yeah, I love to just hang out and with friends and family, I'd say.
Okay. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for your tennis career in the coming years?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say my short-term goal is to make the Grand Slams,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And um, yeah, my other goals long term is to, just try to be healthy, try to, enjoy the career as much as I can, regardless of what happens,
Mm-hmm.
because it's someday it's going to come to an end, and
Yeah, of course.
like I said before, life is too short where I don't want to look back and feel
Mm-hmm.
like I wasted this time.
Okay, off the record, are you married or are you dating someone?
Yes, dating someone.
You're dating. All right.
Hmm.
So we're nearing the end of our show, and is there something you'd like to say to our viewers?
Yeah, I would love to say, firstly, nice to meet you, and thank you for having me on your show.
Likewise.
Yeah, yeah, it's been awesome to talk to you. I would say to the viewers that just to make the most of family time. You know, I'm still very young, but
Mm-hmm.
I already feel life is just racing, and you never know. We're never promised tomorrow, and we're all guaranteed at some point, that we're gonna die, unfortunately. But
Mm-hmm.
I think just to go out and make the most of every day and just try to be as happy and live as good of a life as you can.
Do you watch any other sports? Like now, right now you're in the States, right? Do you watch NFL,
Yes.
NBA, or Major League Baseball, any other sports?
Yeah, yeah. I watch all of them, but really only during maybe the finals or the playoffs.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love to watch basketball. The NBA is a great league, and they have so much fun to,
Any
fun
fa-
teams to support.
any favorite players or teams?
Uh, I know it's cliche to say, but I do love LeBron. I hope he wins.
As
I
we
hope
all
he wins
do.
another. Yeah, I hope he wins another ring with the Lakers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I watch some golf on YouTube.
Hmm.
I do love sports. You know, I grew up playing a lot of
Yeah.
sports, cricket, rugby. I'll still watch.
Hmm.
So yeah,
So there you have it. A truly enlightening conversation with Kiranpal Pannu. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
perfect, mate. You did
We
a
ex-
great job.
we extend our heartfelt gratitude to Kiran for sharing his insights, wisdom, and experiences with us today. And we'd like to thank you sincerely for your time and contribution. Until we meet again, take care and have fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Kiran. Have a good day. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Thanks, mate.